Be the right club. Be the right club today.
Johnny, that's better than most.
How about in?
That is better than most. Better than most.
Expect anything different?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast. Soly here from a frigid Northeast Florida location. Not Florida cold here, TC. It's just straight up cold here.
It's straight up cold. All my tropical plants died. It was too windy to even cover them. This is our third cold snap. I know everybody feels bad for us, Soly.
It was wind chills wind chill of 5 overnight. All right. We're not being babies about this one, people. I promise you. This was and our houses are not meant for this stuff. So we're all snuggled up here tonight. Excused absence for our guy Neil tonight. He was supposed to be with us, had a family situation pop up. We were planning we had a bunch of segments planned for him, but a late withdrawal for our guy Neil tonight. But what are we getting into tonight, Mr. TC?
We got a lot to talk about, Soly. Hark. P is not back yet, but he will be back. Lots to talk about on the P front. Justin Rose went absolutely ape shit at the Farmers. Just Team Rose, the great man. We got some stuff in the pro golf world that I'm monitoring. About a dozen different items. That'll be a new segment for us. And then we've got an absolute shit show on the LPGA Tour. Thanks to the aforementioned cold weather here in Florida. DJ is going to join us for that part. And we've got some winners from around the world. DP World Tour in maybe the worst playoff I've ever seen before. Freddie Schott won the Bapco Energy's Bahrain Championship. On the Korn Ferry Tour down in Panama, Ian Holt won. The LPGA Tour, Nelly won the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament of Champions with a big fat asterisk on it. Soly, where do you want to start?
Well, first of all, Ian Holt, that's his second win already on the Korn Ferry Tour season down there at the Panama Championship. But we got to at least mention this. We're not going to start with the Farmers. We got to mention off the top who was the most dialed of anyone this past week. The great man, you mentioned it, Justin Rose. He had the Farmers pretty much locked up by Thursday afternoon. Kind of felt like it was night from them. The one piece of equipment that he used on every shot, that is, of course, his Pro V1X golf ball. He moved into the current generation Titleist Pro V1X last spring. He says it gives him the perfect combination of maximum distance in the long game, tons of spin in the short game, and incredible distance control into the green. Rosie was one of 107 players in the field this week at Torrey Pines playing a Pro V1 or Pro V1X. That's more than 8 times the nearest competitor. If you don't know what golf ball model best suits your game, you should. Head to Titleist.com to learn more and find out what ball model is your ideal fit. Of course, the No Laying Up podcast officially brought to you by our friends at Titleist. All right, big news of the week that we're going to get to here first, TC. P is back. This feels like it was a couple weeks ago now. This broke on Wednesday. We had quite a lot of fun with
Plus
this.
Credit TC.
TC had the scoop. It was scoop adjacent on this one. Teased it out there before it was announced. Patrick Reed had a long statement, and the PGA Tour released a statement said, Patrick Reed has informed the PGA Tour of his desire to return, a 9-time PGA Tour winner. He is seeking reinstatement of his PGA Tour membership for the 2027 season, playing out of the past champion category. As a result of resigning his membership in 2022 prior to violating any PGA Tour regulations, Patrick is eligible to compete on the PGA Tour as a non-member beginning August 25th, 2026. He may also pursue improved PGA Tour status via the DP World Tour. Similar to anyone reinstated under the returning member program, any former PGA Tour member returning to the PGA Tour would be ineligible for participation in the player equity program through 2030. We're going to break down what all of that means, all that in that statement. But first, we got to be careful what we wish for on this pod, because last week we just said we want P back. When we were saying that, I did not think this was a realistic possibility, that this was going to happen. I thought he'd be back on Live this year. A lot of people on the Live side made it that very clear. And P, after going to Live Media Day, I'm guessing something changed with having won the Hero last week.
Yeah, it definitely provides a smoother pathway back for him. As part of the statement, they also clarified that he is eligible for the P Cup, the President's Cup, which, I mean, Soly, is that just throwing a wrench into future future Ryder Cups.
I've
on the
thought about
US
this,
side.
TC. I'm actually closer to welcoming him back for that than I am pursuing whatever path they're on. We were closer
least
with
he
P.
cares.
Yeah, we were closer with that guy than we currently are. So honestly, I kind of, I'm open to it at this point. I'm kind of open to anything at this point.
Soly, I was sitting there the other day thinking about all the downstream effects from this, and I got so giddy at the thought of P being a future Ryder Cup captain.
Oh my God! All right.
And Lady J being,
let's reel it back. Let's get back to let's see if he gets his PGA Tour card back.
Well,
Let's start
I
working up
mean,
to that.
he was in a playoff P this week in Bahrain. He's basically already locked up, or pretty close to it, locking up top 10 status, of those not already eligible for the PGA Tour for next year. He's well on his way. I'm fascinated to see how he builds out the rest of his DP World Tour schedule this year. I'm hoping that he shows up in Kenya, DLF, things of that nature. Overall, I don't know. I feel like we need villains, and this is a good start to rebuilding just the full cast of characters on the PGA Tour.
That's well said. I don't want this to get confused. I still feel pretty much the same about Patrick Reed, about his antics, about how his family has treated the world of golf, how he has treated the rules of golf allegedly over the course of the last several years. Like, none of that goes away with this news, but he's interesting. He's fun to follow. He makes you feel emotion when you see him on the golf course, when you see him, telling rules officials that they're free to stick their finger in there. When you see, the doctored footage of him down in the Bahamas, like, it makes you feel something. I felt absolutely nothing when he played on Live, and I would much rather him and his class of player that are like, yeah, you're not my favorite player, but you do make the game more interesting, coming back to, somewhere that we have context around what the game of golf means, or this level of game of golf means. That's really exciting. And like, again, it's part of me in the early part of the week, in the initial wave of this reaction, was like, dude, Liv is in trouble. Like, this is, kind of a cascading effect. The more you zoom in on like the individual considerations and nature of the Koepka deal and the Reed deal, the less I feel like it is going to be a cascading effect. I mean, Bryson, Rahm, and Cam Smith, by all indications, are of course, unless there's a crazy last second reversal here as we're recording this, are not coming back to the PGA Tour and the returning member program. And I think changing the hero changed the calculus for P of like, all right, you're telling me I can be playing the fall series on the PGA Tour this coming fall. I've essentially locked up my card by winning the hero. I'm going to run roughshod over the DP World Tour anyways. Like, I'm probably the number 1 seed coming out of those 10 cards that are going to come out of there, plus past champion status. I don't know if P's getting any sponsor exemptions, but he might, based on how Brooks Koepka got treated today and this past week. But it had to just be like, hey, I am like 6.5 months away, maybe almost 7 months away from playing on the PGA Tour again, if I just like don't go back to Live for one more year. And by all accounts, the reports we've heard, I forget the original source of this report, was like that Liv met his contract demands and he just decided, no, like, I'm out. Like, they had already shot the 4 Aces videos and stuff this past, like, a lot changed here in this past week. Yeah.
Which actually, that was a good video. I think it sounds like behind the scenes, this is per our good buddy Flushing It over in the UK, and Bob Herrig, I believe, as well. It sounds like DP World Tour and Live is basically telling Live players, moving forward, we'll give you a release for Live events, and you will not be fined for teeing. Now, granted, you still have to clear your fines and take care of those from the past. But yeah, just very fascinated to see what's going on between Live, the PGA Tour, and the DP World Tour, because it seems like DP World Tour, all right, they're getting a little bump here from P, maybe others, kind of easing back into the OWGR ecosystem, topping up on some points, using that as a pathway back to the tour. Is the tour tired of subsidizing the DP World Tour, and SSG maybe saying, hey, let's cut them loose? Maybe they sell them maybe they sell their stake to the Saudis. Like, things could get really interesting here over the next 6 to 8 months. I'm very, very, very keen. Meanwhile, Soly, what's going on with like the likes of Kevin Na, Pat Perez, Wesley Bryan, Hudson
Oh, God.
Swafford?
Well, backing up to your boy's report alleged in there, it does sound like there's a big caveat in there of, again, if this is a credible report, which is TBD, that there's going to be a required number. Like they're going to get releases to play the live events, but that's going to require a commitment to play certain DP World Tour events, right? Instead of, the fine aspect of it, they're basically, I assume, skipping paying an appearance fee to some of these guys who would probably command a higher than $100,000, whatever the fine amount is, appearance fee. We can say, all right, we can just come have you play here. I don't have to fight this in court if you do this. And if you go and settle your previous fines, like this just seems like a better way to do both of these things. And that's one. So there was another letter that was sent out to players as well this past week, kind of detailing. So backing up again, I was, when you had alerted us before the announcement came out, like P is coming back. I was like, oh shit, like this is a messy one. Like if they're just waving him back in, you just came out with returning member program that didn't include P. Now he's coming right back. The way it is rolled out makes a lot more sense to me to say like, all right, here's the blueprint now. If you resigned your membership and from the last date you played a live event, like you're suspended a year. Like that's essentially what it is. That feels safer to me than like changing the rules. They didn't change the rules. They just kind of made it clear what the actual process is going to be. There was some ambiguity around what the suspension time was actually going to be. Yeah. That clears that up. They did send in this letter out. They gave updates on the disciplinary status of 3 other members: Kevin Na, Pat Perez, and Hudson Swafford. Kevin said Kevin Na last participated in an unauthorized event on August 24th, 2025. His membership has been reinstated. However, he is currently facing disciplinary actions for outstanding violations of the regulations. We'll provide more clarity on Kevin's return date when appropriate.
Kevin, we'll let you know, bud. All right.
I think his violations include overdoing the walk-in of the putts, the backing off the ball at the 2012 Players, whatever year that was. I think those are the violations.
Yeah, pace of play. Was he part of the suit or no?
I do not believe any of these guys were part of the suit except for Hudson Swat. Actually, Pat Perez was part of the suit too. So again, continuing that on, Pat Perez reinstated his membership in January 2026 and is in the process of serving his disciplinary action for outstanding violations of the regulations. He is currently eligible to return to PGA Tour sanctioned competition on January 1, 2027. And then the last one, Hudson Swafford reinstated his membership January 2025 and is in the process of serving his disciplinary action for outstanding violations to the regulations. He is currently eligible to return to PGA Tour sanctioned competition January 1, 2027. So Swafford's got a 2-year.
Well, so is it because the guys who didn't resign before they left? Like, is that is that the extra? Because P's getting a year from his last, time turning up on live, which is.
But he had resigned his membership. Yes.
Okay.
So that is unclear. Other than like, hey, they made it clear like he wasn't a member, and like he's not a member still. Like he's not one. He is a past champion of the PGA Tour, but he can earn his status back. Some of these guys, I guess, hadn't given up their membership when they got suspended. And upon notification, I'm filling in the blanks here, like, reinstated their membership, and then the process starts on the punishment because they were playing, I don't know if it's fines related to that. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that might come with the people that did not resign their membership for all we know.
Was Hudson Swafford one of the ones that was waiting across the street in Memphis?
Wasn't it? Okay. It was Matt Jones, Hudson Swafford. Was it Taylor Gooch too?
And Taylor Gooch, I think.
Yeah.
Just going back through this, it's been such a long, wild ride over the last 3 or 4 years. Even going back, like I went through and just looked at all of Used Golf Facts posts on, now it was Twitter back in the day. Now it's X, the Everything app. It's possible that they fixed the app, and now P feels comfortable coming back. I mean, there were accusations from Used Golf Facts that they were slowing down ShotLink from updating for P. Of course,
manipulating his driving distance on ShotLink, and also the app was slow to update. For some players, it's slow to update. Yeah.
Of course, we had the right pins hypothesis or conspiracy theory. We had all sorts of different stuff. It was such a roller coaster going back through all of the various accusations leveled at the tour. Of course, we got the line drive seats, all of those things, and then
you
use golf
tried to
back.
get her out, man. You tried to lure her out on Wednesday, and I thought you were going to get her. I really, really
I think
thought
it's
you were
the whole
going to get her.
family. I think it's Munter, Lady J, the whole family. I think it's like a group effort on that account. So props to them for their discipline and all of that. So I look forward one day, Lady J and we will share a glass of really, really oaky California Chardonnay and just we will break bread.
That
We'll
might be.
laugh
People
about
ask
all
us, "What's
this.
the interview you want the most?" Like who do you want to interview? It might be Lady J. You and Lady J sitting down for a record interview might be what we need. The golf world, maybe just the world at large needs. I feel like the
And
world needs some
yeah.
healing right now. I feel like that would bring us all a little closer together.
And I saw that P, I guess, bought his wife a house in the Hamptons. That was what she really wanted. So she's got that going for her. Life is good right now for P and Lady J.
Reed had some quotes. This is credit to ESPN. I believe Paolo and Mark Schlabach, I think were the bylines on this. He said, I love my time on Live. I became a different person because of the friendships with players I made. Family is my priority, and playing closer to them is what really matters. I can't get days back. He said, I always saw myself coming back to the PGA Tour. I know I have to earn my way back, and I'm okay with that. And again, he continued, after winning, I realized just how much I missed the grind and the dogfight. That's who I am.
God, that's pretty
Night.
big.
Just shutter it, man. It's got to go. Just shutter the whole thing. All right. I missed the grind, the tour I played on for the last 4 years. I missed grinding. Yeah, that you could not have said it better. That is the perfect way to not disparage Live on your way out the door, Reed, and give all of us that have been screaming this from the rooftops the perfect satisfaction that we needed. That's all we needed. It's not a grind out there, and a lot of us are fans of golf for the grind element of it. So, again, I do not celebrate Reed's entire catalog, but I am celebrating what's going on currently this past week. So
I do celebrate his entire catalog. Also, what's going to happen to the Aces? Where do they go from here?
yeah, it's kind of just the three aces now.
Yeah.
Do they bring up Anthony Kim? So we were supposed to find out something about OWGR this past week, allegedly. Again, I never know what's true about Live and what's not, but that was an expectation that this past week, and I believe it's now coming this following week. I have no idea if this has something to do with P dropping out and it's
See
introducing
how
one
they
of the
fill
many elements of flaws in the official World Golf Ranking application of Live Golf is who gets his spot now. Do you just bring somebody up? If I really cared about OWGR points and I was Scott O'Neill, I would say whoever finished fourth at the qualification, you're now up and you qualified for here. Hint, hint. Like, again, I still think they're woefully short on the qualification front, but you can't just grab somebody and promote them after this and expect to get OWGR points this week. That's kind of the whole deal, man.
Soly, do you think that I think Kazuma, he got summarily kicked off or dismissed from the Korean team? What
Kazuma
was Kevin
Kabori?
Na's team?
No.
No. Jinichiro Kazuma. He was
Hmm.
on the what was Kevin Na's team called?
They were the Ironheads. Now
The
they're
Ironheads. He was on the Ironheads, and he got kicked off the Ironheads because he's Japanese, not Korean. And which, like, I legitimately think that also introduces
100%.
like another wrinkle for OWGR of all right, like this guy's nationality wasn't right, so you kicked him out of the entire league, even though he wasn't in the drop zone.
Did you watch the video I sent through of them trying to be like the DP World Tour and do a funny orientation video?
I did. It was
There's like a
cringe.
racist Otani joke in that video as well. It was just like, oh man, all right, it's got to go away. It's just got to go away. But yeah, I'm anticipating one of two things this week: that Liv does not get OWGR points, or they get an amount that's so tiny that everyone's just going to be even more furious about the whole thing. And I would be even a little bit furious if they got them, because it just, again, they're extremely woefully short of the criteria that And we don't need to do the whole OWGR thing again, like what it actually is, who sets it, and what the purpose of it is. But it's like the majors and the major tours saying, you got to play in events like this if you want points. And LIV doesn't have events like that. And they market themselves on events not being like that. So just get ready for a lot of tears this week. Either way, I think that's virtually the biggest guarantee we could have.
I had a whole LIV corner thing. Can we just knock? I got like 3 things. Can I just knock them out here?
Can I do once just to wrap it up on some player quotes from on the ground about Patrick Reed? JJ Spawn said, I think people want to be on the PGA Tour. It's the best tour in the world, the most competitive tour. I think Patrick will be a good asset to the tour, and I think it just speaks volumes to where the tour is headed. I think to add even more competition for us that have been here while they left, and adding Brooks and Patrick now, it's just strengthening our tour, which I think is great. As you're seeing, and Harris English also continued, said, as you're seeing kind of the dominoes are starting to fall, maybe those guys on the LIV Tour are not happy out there, and the grass is not greener on the other side. They're seeing the PGA Tour getting stronger and having more success, and seeing that money's not the end all be all. Like that doesn't fulfill them. They're still competitors. They're competitive people, and they love playing in the biggest events against the best players in the world.
How would you like to be odds in the Swafford? Like you're like the first guy you realized years before that oh shit, I made the wrong choice here.
But I'm not positive he did. I mean, he had to have made, if not close to double-digit millions of dollars in the process. And like, were you going to make that on the PGA Tour? I don't know. I mean, that level of player, I don't know if it's like a slam dunk that he made a wrong decision. And again, like we don't know what the equity's worth. They're saying it's worth a lot. We've not done a great job explaining how it actually works, because to be honest, I'm not like, I would need to dig in deeper to fully understand it. But like, P is not eligible for that through 2030. And I know I don't have Hideki's comments lined up, but I know Hideki had some comments about, kind of a little bit bitter about some guys coming back. And I think they're not worth zero. The equity dollars are not like a LIV team valuation. It's not worth negative dollars. It might not be worth like 50 to 85 like they claimed for Brooks. It might be, but it also might. Like it very well could. It's going to be worth millions of dollars to people that play well. We know that for sure. So P not being eligible for that is like a relatively significant punishment. And he probably is going to making more money going to LIV and coming back. Sure. But it might end up being closer than people think. If the numbers that are shared are to be believed. I understand people being skeptical of that. Sorry.
Hideki could maybe be the most pissed of everybody, right? They offered him 400 or 500 million. So Soly, we got to talk about the graphic.
I can show you the graphic for those that are watching this here. Fox Sports tweeted out that LIV Golf is back in 1 week. Do you have the full list of all the things that are wrong? On my screen, this is kind of small.
Well, Scott O'Neill front and center, as if he's like some selling point. They spelled Mickelson wrong. They spelled Dustin Johnson's name wrong. There's a few other things in there too, but yeah, just good stuff. They deleted it quickly, but just fantastic stuff there. Soly, the Cleeks followed me on the gram. Their 2026 video is almost out. They posted a little teaser. I said, quote, goosebumps, and then they followed me, which was great. I totally missed Harold Varner going from whatever team he was on before to Smash GC. He cited his Jordan brand endorsement as a reason why. And then Bloomberg is reporting that LIV has hired Citigroup to sell minority stakes in 2 of its teams this year. They're targeting valuations as high as $300 million. Your reaction to that, sir?
Yeah, sure thing. You could literally just print whatever you want. You could ask, you could target whatever you want. We're targeting 300 million for our company as well. Yeah, we might be closer than the Ironheads are. I think it's fair to say we have a larger following than I think of every team that's in the LIV Golf League on the Everything app. If that's how what drives money. But
lastly, we've got
dude. I can't, 4 years. I can't even do that anymore. It's not funny anymore. I can't make the jokes about it. We've done it for like, it is funny, but like I can't. I don't have a new line for that one.
Also, it's the season opener this week in Riyadh. Tyga and Akon are headlining.
Do we know if it's Akon's
brother?
It could be Akon's brother. We did have a little fun on Wednesday. Had to kind of rearrange some of our day to do this. I hope if you're watching on YouTube, and you somehow didn't see this on social. Here's how TC and I spent our Wednesday.
All we need is a little bit of caffeine, and we'll be perfect. 2 Trenta strawberry refreshers, no water, no inclusions, please. That's it.
Total is 1267. We'll meet you for the bill.
Thanks, bud. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Now we're ready to roll.
So stupid.
Solly, thank you for filming it. Thank you for editing it. You were like directing it. You're like, no, you gotta slow it down.
I think it's time to come clean on this part. We forgot the grunt, and I did dub in P's original grunt from the video because we needed to have that. I missed that in the moment, but we needed to have that. How was your first Trenta strawberry refresher with no water, no inclusions?
It was awful. It was like we threw them away immediately. It was like cough syrup. I got some notes from friends saying like they were concerned that I was wearing the backwards, upside down, no vowels hat. I said, like just read the hat. It's a joke. And then my mom was confused as to why I was getting like 2 strawberry refreshers. Like some people didn't understand the reference, which was good too.
So. The references are out of control, bro. I only know one other person, actually 2 other people that have ever like attempted or tasted a strawberry refresher with no water, no inclusions. One of them is our guy, Mr. DJ Piehowski, who is joining us from Chile, Florida as well. Hello, Pie Man.
Hello, guys. Good to be with you. Certifiable, man. Florida cold. Florida cold is bucking its head down here in Orlando. I don't need to tell you guys. Good to see you.
What do you remember about the Trenta strawberry refresher from Milwaukee?
Horrible, awful, not good. I remember you kind of liking it though. I don't know if that's kind of I hope I'm not airing you out, but you were kind of like, yo, are you gonna finish that? I'll have a couple more sips as a joke. Sure.
I did have 2 sips of the one that TC got for me, and I made sure I dumped it and washed my sink out because it was like it's just going to attract all the fruit flies in the world. Just dumping 80 grams of sugar.
Well, I don't think there's any insects left in the state of Florida after this weekend. I think they're all toast. I believe.
Freddie, my older son Freddie, was like he saw the video and he was all excited. He was like, "Oh, Dad, you got no inclusions." Like I always get no inclusions. The inclusions are gross. God damn, dude, you're so bougie.
The no water part is the gross part. Like literally just drinking the concentrate. Like I mentioned, it is legitimately cold here. I got to give a shout out to this Summit fleece pullover. It's incredible. I don't get to wear it much, and I honestly get like a little bit excited when I do get to wear it and throw it on. This feels like a DJ Pie. I think you have this exact one, don't you? And you
I do. I have the
gray.
I have the gray one. Yeah.
You pull it off a lot better than I do, but I absolutely love this, and it is feeling very cozy tonight. I got the Ready hoodie sitting right here as well. If needed here, if it gets too cold in the house, it is the warmest sweatshirt I've ever worn. The material is incredible. It is thick with 2 C's, maybe 3 C's, Dennis. And it is been absolutely critical here in this cold stretch we've had. And in the winter, you're going to see me in the Fulton vest a lot. I keep one in the garage. I throw it on for walks in the evening. It's never too hot, never too cold. I can't get enough of their stuff. I wear Rhoback stuff every single day in some way, shape, or form. I looked down the other day on a walk. I had on joggers. I had the T-shirt on. I had a hoodie on over it, and I had a vest on. I'm sure the neighbors were like, who is this dude?
Who's that big dog there?
It's so subtle, but I do see it. So we appreciate their support, helping us stay kitted out. If it's time to update your wardrobe, go to Rhoback.com, RHOBACK.com. Use code NLU at checkout for 20% off your first order through the end of the week. Deej, we brought you in for LPGA stuff, which we're going to get to, but really we can't talk about Justin Rose without you being here. I know you didn't get to watch a lot on the men's side this week. Why don't you tell us what you were doing first this week and then your reaction to Team Rose?
Yeah, I was there in spirit, of course. We're checking after every shot. How's the great man Justin Rose doing out there at the great man venue, Torrey Pines? I am in Orlando. I'm in Lake Nona specifically right now, caddying at the LPGA event, sort of, but I'm caddying in the celebrity division, caddying for our good buddy Tim Simons, who people might know from Veep. He played Jonah Ryan on Veep. Now is on Nobody Wants This. He got a lot of Draft Day. A lot of like, oh shit, that's the guy from Draft Day this week, which was fun. So he got invited to play. It's like a celebrity pro-am, kind of like Pebble Beach style,
Urban
where the
Meyer
celebrities
was there.
are playing in the event. Urban Meyer was there. A lot of good folks were there. And so Tim asked me if I'd come down and caddy, and it was 15 below zero in Milwaukee, and I was like, oh, it'd be nice and warm in Orlando. That sounds great, man. Would love to get down there. And so yeah, spent this week down here with him, which was great. So I did not get to watch a lot of the farmers. I'm sure you guys have it covered, but please, if I can be an avatar for the audience, I mean, fill me in, guys. What happened? Was it as good as the numbers make it look?
It was even better.
Justin Rose put up the 23rd best 54-hole score to open up a tournament since 2004. He opened up a 6-shot lead heading into the final round. He was minus 2,500 to win the tournament overnight. Like going into the final round, he shot 62, 65, 68. It was never close. On Sunday, he shot 70 to win by 7 shots over Pearson Coody, who shot a final round 65. Siwoo Kim and Ryo Hisatsune. He did only tie Ryo Hisatsune for the South Course title this week, and he did win the North Course title. So I don't know if they did a separate playoffs. Maybe they might have done a scorecard playoff. I'll go check what the number 1 handicap hole is on at Torrey Pines South. But yeah, he padded the numbers on the North Course and then kind of coasted to the win. I just don't like seeing our guy win like that, TC. It just didn't quite sit right.
Yeah, he set the tournament scoring record. He set the tournament 54-hole scoring record, 72-hole scoring record. Granted, it was the most placid conditions we've ever seen at Torrey Pines before. Just the great man. He's gained speed. He was in complete control. He had back-to-back bogeys on Saturday at one point, and then kind of steeled himself, got right back in the mix, and that's what great men do. They turn it around and shot 68 on Saturday, and it was never in question at any point in the last 48 hours.
I feel like this is probably a silly question because he won by 7, but I imagine it's just an all cylinders performance. The Justin Rose game is like, it's not like he's bombing it over corners. It's not like he's doing it. Like, I imagine it's just like pretty close to perfect golf, right? Hitting it to 15 feet, 8 feet a lot and making half the putts.
You know what it reminded me of, honestly? Like, not to make a Koepka, but like a Koepka in a major when he's like got it was just like, oh, I do not need to watch this. I know exactly what's going to happen. You are not going to make a mistake. There is no suspense in any of this. It's just, I mean, to do this at age 4, of course, I was being facetious off the top for anybody that was doubting that. To do this at age 45 and to have this late career renaissance he's having, he was a putt away from winning the Masters last year. He's lost Masters in 2 playoffs. We might view his entire career so differently if a Sergio putt goes differently, if a Rory bounce goes differently. And it's incredible, man. I'm so impressed. It was kind of one of those guys that, like, if you'd ask me, like, all right, who's more likely to bounce back at a certain, like a former world number 1, more likely to bounce back, like Jordan Spieth, Jason Day, or Justin Rose? Like, Rose would have been my 3rd pick as of 4 years ago, however long, but would have been a lot of people's pick out of that group. And here he is doing it, man. And I know every time we've done this a lot because he's had so much success, but like every time we do it, it's like all your buddies went to live and just got the paycheck and you stayed and grinded it out and are reaping the rewards, man. So our hats off to you.
That's why he's a great man. He was, to your question, he was 21st off the tee this week. He was 2nd in approach play, 45th around the green, and 10th in putting. So
that doesn't include the North Course. It does not include when he shot 62 on the North.
He hit 59 of 72 greens this week.
It's gonna be hard to beat. It's a lot of things that spring to mind, but I don't know, not to be the guy who like goes to Barcelona and then only talks about Barcelona, but being at the event this week, like I haven't been at an event definitely for a week long for quite a while. Very small reminder of, oh my God, it's a grind to come to a golf tournament. And this was like a joke golf tournament that doesn't even count for anything. And to just do that all season long for that many events, to fly to that many places, to warm up, to learn the course, to go to the recovery trailer that he's got following him around the country, to like, go back to the hotel, to meet people at the hotel, to do that over and over and over and over until the age 45 season is mind blowing, man. To have that much energy and to be able to be one of the best players in the world at that age. I was talking to Tim about it here because we were watching the finish, and he's like, "How old is Justin Rose?" I'm like, he's like 45, probably something like that. He's like, "So, okay, you guys are kind of talking about Spieth like he's like dead." He's like, "Can't Spieth just like do a Justin Rose?" I was like, "I don't think it's
Doesn't
easy,
work that
man. I
way.
think it's like I
You don't
think
know
you
if
just got
Spieth's
to
a great
grind your
man.
face off for like a half a decade." I was like, maybe, he very well might, but like, the other thing about Justin Rose that kind of came up is like, I don't feel like has he ever had like a wilderness period, or I feel like his floor has just always been really high, outside of maybe like the equipment
When
change
he went to
stuff.
Hanma.
I mean, at
Yeah.
this time last year, he was 164th in the data golf rankings. Like,
Yeah, it's low.
It was-
I didn't realize it was that bad.
it got, as of June of last year, he was like 146 in the data golf rankings. Like I don't know. It's a weird thing of he has some bad weeks. Like he missed the cut last week at the Amex. Like he's not wildly consistent at this age, but like he gets so much out of his good weeks, like a ton out of them. So yeah, his like strokes gain rating is not going to be that strong. It's going to factor in all the golf you played, but like basically if he'd be people would call him a vanity handicapper. Because his top 8 out of his 20 rounds are really, really good. And it's really, really, what do you think his OWGR is going to be when he wakes up tomorrow?
Like
Fourth?
9, 8.
Third. He's going to be third in the world.
Come on.
Third OWGR number
Oh,
3.
great man here.
And he's 47th in data golf. He might be like in the 30s as of tomorrow. But like that weighs a really
Kind of an
strong
indictment
finish.
on Fleetwood, right?
Deej, your question on wilderness. I mean, I feel like he got his wilderness out of the way beginning of his
First things
career.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he kind of went through a little swoon there again in like 04, 05, and then dropped off again a little bit in 2009. But really for the last, and then, like Soly said, 2020 to 2022, 2024, like kind of fell off, just looked like he was aging a little bit. But I mean, really hasn't finished a year outside of the top 100 in the OWGR since 2001.
That's wild.
How
And
many?
that, I guess, was kind of the point of my question, I guess, is like he's had some valleys for sure, but I don't know that he's had oh man, is the music starting to play and this, this is the sunset of my career type of moments, or
Felt
the
like
like
that, though, like
I guess what I mean is more like my confidence is shattered.
yeah.
Like, am I ever going to get it back? He seems like he's had natural ebbs and flows with injuries and, like we said, equipment changes and some of those things that are, I don't know. I was just thinking about, you see it with a lot of guys that we talk about all the time, JT and Spieth and Max, and some of these guys that fall off is like there's more going on there than just aging with at least some of those guys, right? It's swing change stuff, confidence stuff,
Little
injury stuff
here and there.
Yeah, all of those different things. And I feel like in a weird way, I'm like, Rose hasn't. I understand. I'm just looking for a reason for like, why is he still on the grind? Like, and I think without that, without that crack in the foundation, I understand. It seems like it makes a little more sense to just keep going and going and going.
I get that you mentioned all the weeks on the road and all that. I get that there's some overlap between DP World Tour and PGA Tour starts that count towards 2, like the majors count for both. But how many PGA Tour starts do you think Justin Rose has made?
God, a lot. Probably.
I'll say 480.
Yeah, I was thinking in that neighborhood as well. I'll take 500 for fun.
447.
Yeah.
And DP World Tour 348. So like combine the two, it's almost 800. Now again, there's a ton of overlap, WGCs and all that. It's probably in the 600s, but like, yeah, that's a lot of freaking
Tell you
golfing
what, man,
life.
Like just the way he does it too. Like they talked about it a little bit on the broadcast today. We've talked about it in the past, but just the diligence and the meticulousness of it, where you just don't feel like he's leaving anything to chance, or there's no spillage, there's no waste,
Right.
there's no
Yeah.
and like I think the thing I respected the most this week was how resounding he played on the front nine. Like he came out round 2 after shooting 62 on the North Course, shot 31 on the front nine at Torrey. And then round 3 shot 32, round 4 shot 33. Like he was flawless on the front nine and didn't make a bogey on the front nine at Torrey Pines South this week, which like we can get into Torrey Pines, but that's impressive. Like you had to drive the ball in the fairway this week, or you were like that rough is so thick. And it's, there's a lot of just bad bunkers around there.
Moving down the board just a little bit here. Pearson Cootie I mentioned the Sunday 65, get up into T2. Siwoo Kim, Ryu Hisasun playing in the final pairing. Birdie the last as well to get a big tie for second. Joel Damon was in the final group as well. He finished tied for 7th. Would have loved for him to get a top 5 in there as well. But so this was Brooks Koepka's, of course, first start back on the PGA Tour since the returning member program, all that. He finished in a tie for 56th. He shot 73, 68, 73, 70. He was heavily featured on the television
every single
broadcast
one of those
this past week. What I think it's an impossible needle to thread here. I think that they aired on the right side of this thing of like, I could see a world where he comes back and they treat him like he's a normal guy and they don't show him and everybody's up in arms of like, what the heck? Wasn't this a big deal that this guy came back? I did not know we were going to get Tiger Woods 2006, the 3 weeks out of the year that he's on the other side of the golf course, not in contention, like that we're going to show like every shot. It was a lot. It was, I was surprised by that because I know Brooks Koepka is a 5-time major winner. He is like the major dude of this generation. He and Rory. Scotty will be there soon. But he was never the PGA Tour guy. He won 4 total PGA Tour events, and I was not surprised to see him down. His game is not in great form. I was not surprised to see him that far down the board. I was just surprised at how from the jump, they put it on ESPN early this week. The ESPN live coverage was on ESPN, and CBS was obviously very excited that he made the cut, and I was just surprised that it ate up as much television time as it did.
Yeah, I was too. It was a lot of, I'm fine with the interviews. He was good with the media all week. Very jovial, kind of un-Brooks like almost. But yeah, there were a few spots, especially early in the rounds, where like today they showed him on number 3, and the leaders were on 10 or 11. And I'm thinking, oh man, like they bumped the tee box up on 3, and that's a really cool setup for that cool little front left pin there. Sure, not like, oh yeah, I forgot. The leaders already went through here 2 hours ago. We're not going to see it on the main broadcast. But, kind of a tough start too with ESPN picked up featured group stuff, and they had that on, Thursday and Friday. First time the tour has been on ESPN, like the flagship ESPN in 20 plus years. And they didn't have any sound. Like they didn't have any ambient sound for the first 30 minutes, hour. And so I don't think that was necessarily putting the best foot forward, but it just felt like the tour tried to go a little bit overboard as far as welcoming Brooks back in. It's like, I feel like, all right, you got him back in now, like maybe celebrate it on Thursday, but back to business as usual, I think.
Yeah, again, I get the overall sentiment, but it's just a little too much. I think we with Phoenix, like he's a past champ there. Like it's gonna be a rowdy atmosphere. I could see, I think he still should garner plenty of attention with the TV broadcast. Assuming I think he's gonna play better this coming week too. I mean, he really just had a horrible putting week. I think was almost dead last in putting in the measured rounds on the South Course. The Saturday broadcast did not do him any favors, showing all the putts from that when he lost 5.5 shots to the field. Putting on there, but that's POA. That's, I don't know if this is the best Brooks Koepka golf course out there currently. And I said this when we said he was coming back. I don't have massive expectations for him on the PGA Tour schedule. He again did not dominate this tour when he played on it and was world number 1 and was winning all the majors. So I don't think a lot's going to change on that front. But he seems a lot more He's a lot easier. This version of Brooks is way easier to root for. You know, he might even be overdoing the, you know, I need to talk to everyone and I need to pay my penance. And I'm not sure if that's the case, man. I mean, you are paying a penalty. You came back, like everybody's ready to move on and just like play golf again. This isn't like a monumental thing that you played in this event, just like a good step in getting the band back together and getting golf back to how it should be.
Soly, do you think that they're trying to set an example for Bryson or for Rahm?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Hey, you know, this week specifically,
you're going to get welcomed with open arms.
If you come back, water's warm over here. We're not gonna drag you.
In their letter that I mentioned earlier, that mentioned the disciplinary for the other 3 players, like they said, like they're not expecting anyone else to return from the returning member program. So I think they're kind of, we said the same thing when they debuted this. We did not think any of the other 3 would come back. So I don't know. Maybe for Bryson for next year, you know, that you'll get somewhat of a welcome, but it's interesting. But I just don't think that was a realistic. I think if Rahm could get out, he would. But I have a feeling from what we've heard, his contract is a lot tighter, and I don't think Bryson's in as much of a hurry. So that's an interesting theory, though, for sure.
Do you guys think Brooks wins another major?
It's a great question.
God, I feel like the bad guy if I say no, but I say that purely as it's really freaking hard to win majors. So that's kind of a actuarial sort of take. I hope he does, genuinely.
Same.
I've had a great time watching the Brooks saga the last couple of years, and I'm kind of bummed I missed it, to be honest. Like, I think I would maybe not push back because I didn't watch it. I don't want to speak out of turn here, but if I was watching it, I think I would be curious to see more Brooks. And I think there is a lot of casual fans, and there's a lot of people who aren't watching Thursday, Friday, or even Saturday, you know, who are probably, this is the one, you know, there's kind of one story every week. And especially when a guy's leading by 7, it's, I understand them beating the drum a little bit harder. And that feels, at one hand, I was almost tempted to, the old part of my brain, I think, was almost like, oh, that's interesting that CBS is kind of going against the tour. You know, the tour probably wants to keep this a little quiet. And I'm like, no, I think that's the old tour. The old tour would have been like, nothing to see here, nothing to, you know, business as usual. All these guys are the same. And now the new tour is, I think, like, yo, let's re-edit that promo, you know, where the best players belong, or the great, whatever the slogan is. Like, let's get Brooks with the hero shot at the end of that commercial. I think the new tour is leaning in on this stuff. So yeah, it's just I don't know, pretty interesting all the way across the board.
I think Brooks.
But that was a long way of saying no. I don't think he's going to win another major.
I think he's got one more in him. I think the ball striking can still be there, and you know, it's fleeting, but he looks fine. Obviously, putter needs to be better, but I don't know. I just feel like he's a dog, and he's got, like, he's going to turn up. He's got, how old is he, Soly? 34, 35?
I want to say he's 36 now. He is 35 years, 8 months. Same exact age as Rory. Or no, he's a year younger than Rory.
So you got to think he's got 20 good ones left in him. He
got really close at Augusta a couple times.
He hasn't done really shit since he won the PGA, right? And that's going to be coming up on 3 years. His major
we
run.
Talk about Spieth, like, it's gonna happen.
Do you think Spieth's gonna win another major? I don't know who's carrying that flag. Like, I don't know about that equivalence. He's gone T17, T64, T45, T26, T26, T43, cut, T12, cut in the 10 majors he's played since he won the PGA in 2023. I will, without confidence, say that I do not think he's going to win another major, because I've failed to predict any of the 5 majors he's won. It becomes apparent, like, by 10:41 a.m. on Friday that he's gonna win it when he does, and when it happens, I'll be like, "Yep, all right, he did it again." Yeah. I didn't think he would. I thought he was kind of cooked prior to Oak Hill, and it wasn't going to happen again. And he proved us wrong. And he proved us wrong early in that week. It was like, oh God, we missed it again, underestimated him again. But I just would be surprised. I just don't know if that magic is still in there. And again, for every one of these major conversations we have from here on out, we're in a different world now. We are in a Scotty world. All right. And like, we're looking at, I think it's not crazy to think that Scotty could win half of the majors over the next 2 seasons. right? I mean, if he wins 2 this year, 2 next year, like that's really, really, really limiting the opportunities that other guys are going to have, and we like to hand them out to, like candy to a lot of people. So I don't know. I'd be surprised if he won another major.
All right. So a couple more, just a couple run down the leaderboard things here from Torrey. Jake Knapp, good finish, 67. Hits Tsuni played well. In the 60s, all 4 rounds. Good weekend. He's up to 9th in the Aon Swing 5. I know you're a big Swing 5 guy, Deej.
I believe he's up to 9th in the FedEx Cup. He is 4th in the Swing 5.
He's in the Swing 5.
Yeah,
okay.
He's in now.
Yeah. What else we got? Steven Yeager, a good week. Sahith, Signs of Life, 66 today on Sunday.
DJ Pie, comment.
I love it. I hope he wins every time he plays. One of my favorite players. I just don't know if he's good. That's kind of as I've said about all my favorite players. He fits the bill.
Andrew Novak, 66 today. T7, get him on the team. Joel Damon, 73 today. Kind of a buckled down the stretch. He had a 6 shot into 17 today from the bunker. But
300K for Joel. You know you love it when Joel makes some money. And would he have gotten into Phoenix
into WM next week?
But would he have gotten in with the top 10? Do you get into an invitational with the top 10?
Oh, that's a good question.
You didn't used to. I don't.
Does that carry over then to the next event? I guess he probably would have gotten in. And otherwise, he is. I believe he's sitting like 11th in the Aon Swing 5. So he's going to need a nice week in Phoenix if he wants to get into Pebble. So
Mav McNeely, solo 10th, another speed merchant, just like Team Rose. He's picked up a bunch of speed year over year. Speaking of speed, Big Tone. Congrats, Soly. Some signs of life from Big Tone, including an ace out there this week.
Comment T11. Here he comes.
Ryan Gerard, T11, continues his play.
I love TC. There's nothing better, genuinely, than when life starts to imitate the art. Ryan Gerard was not one of the hottest players in the world until you started speaking that into existence, and it just absolutely flipped him. I sent TC the video yesterday, but I was in the bar with a prominent LPGA caddy last night, and out of nowhere, unprompted, he just goes, "You know who one of the 10 best players in the world is?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Michael Brennan." 100% book it. Michael Brennan.
At least when remember this.
Remember this conversation. Materials. Yeah, I don't know if that was a segue or not, but it made me laugh. I had to get it on video and send it to TC.
I mean, you got to give it to Torrey. Like the cream rises to the top. Goddard was up there. Thorbjornsen, Matsuyama, Soly. We would be remiss if we didn't shout out Seamus Power. The Irish would be all up in our DMs. Cam Young played well. HE, things of that nature, and that's the tamest Torrey we've seen in years. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm tired of fighting the Torrey battle, though.
Yeah, you know what, TC? I thought about this. We've said so much about Torrey over the years, a lot of it not positive. And I really just kind of sat with it and reflected with it this week. I was like, have we been fair? Like, have we done this right? Yes. And I watched a lot of golf this week, and I enjoyed a lot of the golf this week. And I came to the conclusion, we haven't been hard enough on Torrey. It's
wish I had more hands.
I wish I had more hands. It is so unimaginative. It is a tough slog, tough watch, but it's so pretty. I still enjoy watching it, and I'll still take this tournament and this golf course over Amex last week, right? Yeah. Like there's still, at least there's punishment, but it is just, rinse and repeat, same conversation every year, but it just is so underrealized and could be so much better, and it really aggravates me. But
it's just funny that they've spent so much money.
I know.
Over the last 25 years redoing the golf course, and they haven't done anything to it. Crazy.
So, why don't we get to your monitoring list? We have 12 things. I made you limit it to 12 things. We can get through this quickly of just what's cooking on your burner on the men's side, mostly men's side of pro golf here.
You didn't limit me to 12 things. I limited myself to 12 things. we got to get this under. So first, all right, number one, scheduling stuff. Hearing a lot of chatter about this Century going to Torrey, and Farmers is out. They sent their chief people officer for the interview this week. Their head of HR, which I thought was super interesting, in the booth talking to Nance. Little exit interview for them, the HR guy. Josh Carpenter had something in Sports Business Journal as Farmers Insurance exits. What's the future for San Diego PGA Tour event? A lot of smoke that it's going to be Century sponsoring that and coming over from Hawaii.
Question for the Wikipedia page: Is the Century moving to Torrey
No.
Pines, or this is the Farmer? Okay,
Yeah, this would be the farm. Yeah, this would be the continuation of the Shearson Lehman brothers.
got
The
it.
Andy Williams.
Yeah, Andy Williams Invitational, right? Same host organization. Also the Procore tweeted today, or posted on X, the Everything app today, that they're officially donezo. So no more Napa event. So that's the scheduling stuff. We got a
Scarcity.
Michael, scarcity. We got a Michael Brennan DQ. Guys, Soly was chomping at the bit to throw this into our Slack today.
A little
Or
guilty until
earlier
proven
this
innocent
week.
from Soly.
Brennan issued a statement. He took to social media to issue a statement. He said, just wanted to clear the air on what happened at the Farmers Insurance Open this week. I started working with a new course data analyst at the beginning of the week in an effort to improve my course strategy. That I feel like that's interesting, in that there is no strategy at Torrey.
All you got to do is not illegally write stuff in your book, and you'll be fine, man.
I'll continue. The evening before each round, he sends the whole locations on greens maps to help plan the approach shots. While looking at the green maps, I sketched a few arrows to help with my plan on approach shots. After completion of my round, I asked him for clarification of a feature on the greens maps. During the clarification, he mentioned that I was not able to transcribe any details on the greens from his diagram into my yardage book. Upon learning this, I reached out to a PGA Tour rules official, reported my mistake, and was subsequently disqualified from the golf tournament. Well, this has been a painful lesson to learn. I'm looking forward to the party in the desert next week at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Let's go. Deej, Honest Abe never told a lie. Chopped down a cherry tree.
Chopped down a cherry tree. Yeah. No, I love this. I love this from our guy. A little chippiness, a little adversity, some haters coming out of the woodwork, but we're taking it on the chin. We're going to get better from it, TC. All this leading up to major season, the season of championships.
Amen.
That's when he's really going to shine.
There's some ingredients of a great man in there, I think.
Exactly.
So next up, we're monitoring Ludwig's game.
I did see that. I did watch a lot of golf, but I saw that it's not good right now.
Yeah,
TC.
it wasn't good this week. I think he's just nicked up, and he might lack enough fortitude in his immune system. This is what, the second year in a row he's gotten sick, either leading into Torrey or at Torrey.
Yeah.
And he played horrible. What did he shoot? He shot like
78 on the
78?
south course, 72 on the north course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Woof.
So not good.
It was bad. I watched a lot of it. He was playing with Koepka and Max on Thursday, and it was. I'm not 0% worried about Ludwig. I'm not worried, but it's not 0%. Monitoring. That's why it's on the monitoring list.
Yeah, we're monitoring. I'm not worried though. I want to give a shout out to the mule exemptions this week that Brooks made possible. So 2 extra guys got into the field because the tour is adamant that Brooks is not taking up a spot from someone else. So in order to net up, they're adding, to kind of even the field up, net the field up. So Lonzo Griffin got in this week, which I thought was so rich, because he is the most vociferous, aggrieved, vocal person of the entire mule population on the PGA Tour.
That's again, life, art, a lot of things kind of coming together there. They should have just Venmo'd James Hahn like 20 grand just because Brooks got in the field. There's a lot of good stuff to come from that one. I love that being on the monitoring list.
Speaking of aggrieved mules, Wesley Bryan wants back in. He said, quote, appreciate all the support recently. Unfortunately, Brooks Koepka coming back to the tour has no bearing on my situation. I've reached out and asked for a conversation to potentially uplift my suspension. I have been told that no such conversation will be given. So
We have plenty of towels. Thanks.
we'll tell you when we're ready for you, big guy.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like the full story. I don't know the full
Yeah.
story, but that just doesn't quite seem right. But
We're monitoring.
we're monitoring.
There's some fatherhood news this week, guys. The couple of great men and their spouses had children this week. First of all, Bob McIntyre, big shot Bob.
Hey,
Again, I apologize to him for leaving him off the 10 best players to not win a major.
Sixth ranked player in the world right now, by the way.
Yeah,
WPGA.
yeah. But shout out to Bob and his significant other, and then our very own Big Randy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Congratulate Ian Cat on the birth of their daughter Lillian. So everybody's doing well, and the big guy is just thrilled beyond belief. So
He says he's already got diapers down. Diapers are not a worry anymore. Do not report that I'm struggling with the diapers. We're fine with the diapers.
7th, Marco Penge. He's struggling to get into clubs down in Jupe. I guess
story.
I was told. I think he intimated this, that he was a little bit too casual. I was told that he showed up to 2 different clubs for his interview with either the president of the club or board members, just wearing like gym shorts and a t-shirt. That sounds like something Big Randy would do.
I was gonna say that's another Big Randy move. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's great.
They just wouldn't let me in. They wouldn't let me in. I think it kind of made it sound like he thought he could just be a member at any club down there and like didn't need to stroke a big check. But like, I don't think that's how it works down there in West Palm.
Yeah. What else? Did you guys see the video of Rory mocking Cantlay that emerged from the Ryder Cup?
I didn't confirm that wasn't AI, but yeah, Pat, I don't think it was either. But yeah, the Cantlay doing the shuffle at the Ryder Cup and Rory kind of imitating him doing the shuffle back and forth. It made me laugh. I thought that was good.
TC has, I believe, 2 strikes in this department already with regards to AI videos. We had the Dr. Penis thing on the trap draw, and I think maybe one other one. So tread lightly, TC.
Yeah. What else?
Careful bunting with 2 strikes.
9th, PGA Tour on ESPN Thursday, Friday. I just thought I wanted to call this out one more time because I think this is foreshadowing on Roll-App's strategy of, hey, we're going to try to get play offense as far as media rights go. We are going to get out in front of this thing. We're going to try to get on as many televisions, get as many eyeballs as possible. Versant seems like it's a bad deal. They're going nowhere fast as far as the holding company for Golf Channel and all that sort of stuff. But very fascinating to see what Roll-App does here, and then just what he does generally speaking on the media side, because I think there's a whole hell of a lot of stuff as far as behind the scenes content, Hard Knocks style stuff that can be treated like full swing is just not it, right? And I know they've made a big big deal out of all of that, but I think there's so much more meat,
real
left
stuff.
on that bone.
Make it real
for
stuff.
Core
not
fans.
not like a fake documentary. Like make it real content. I was thinking about this, TC, when today, like legitimately can be hard for me to change the channel during the course of the day. Like I'm watching the golf and there's just a lot going on. I had to start it on ESPN Live, ESPN Plus, then over to Golf Channel, then over to CBS. In multiple sections of the house, trying to keep up with everybody. And it reminded me of this tweet. I'm picturing myself as Roll-App, and it reminded me of this tweet, which is one of my favorite tweets of all time, which is just, it says in quotes, like, burglar gently waking me, like, yo, you live like this? I was picturing that with Roll-App of like, whoa, this is how you guys do it? What? Like, college basketball runs long for 20 minutes and we just don't go on CBS until, like, what? You guys live like this? Like,
There were 6 minutes left. Here. 6 minutes left in the basketball game on Saturday.
I did not figure that out. It happens every time.
Utah State and San Diego State. It's crazy.
Every time.
I got 3 more. Ras Al-Khaimah, mea culpa. I called it Ras Al-Khamai.
I think that's my fault. I think that's how I've always pronounced it. I think I'll own that one, TC.
I want to shout out the Riddler down at Augusta National, or up at Augusta National. for putting in a drive, chip, and putt pace of play bonus. You get bonus points if you do it in a certain amount of time on the greens.
Oh,
So
love
I
that.
know he was not happy with the pace of play last year. Some of the aim pointing, some of these kids getting bad habits. We're fixing it. Riddler, you keep this up and you're gonna flip me on drive, chip, and putt. You just gotta get rid of that 14, 15-year-old division. All right.
I gotta say, I hope Tianlong Guang does not get penalized for this one.
Yeah. And then I just want to shout out the Financial Times piece on the line.
Oh,
On
man.
Neo. I sent it to Deej. I
Unbelievable.
sent it to Soly. I would seek it out wherever, however you can as far as Financial Times goes. But I felt like I was at once reading a Dave Eggers novel and also reading basically this parallel story of maybe foreshadowing what's going to happen to Liv here. Of like, oh yeah, we built out this whole thing because the consultants told us to do it. Yo, check it out. It was totally unfeasible.
Check it out. We were off on the estimated cost by $2.9 trillion. We thought it was going to be 1.5 trillion and it's going to be like 4.4 or whatever, like almost $3 trillion. Like, oh my God. It was an incredible read. Thank you for sending that.
And this was from November. Read it briefly back in November, but came back to it. And it was just, I mean, like all this stuff about like they didn't consider that, like when people were going to take the train from one end of it to the other, or from their place to the airport, that they couldn't bring bags on it, or that they didn't
calculated
factor
all the trade times, calculating that the train would never have to stop, so it could get from one side of the line to the other in like 20 minutes. But like that's if it made no stops. It just was, it rules, man. There's 50 different things that I could point to from that. The birds just flying into like 1,000-mile long mirror, essentially. All the things around it that are just going to get fried by. It's just it rules. Financial Times, Neom. I can't.
Yeah, it was
enough.
from November 6th, Allison Killing, and then it was just an unbelievable visual investigation as well. There's all sorts of various graphics and stuff too. So yeah, that was just a thrill. But like looking at it, it was like, oh yeah, like they're kind of dialing back on all this stuff because the price of oil is continuing to stay so low. I wonder what else they'll scale back on, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to cut a lot of live golfs to make up for that 2.9 trillion deficit on the line. But maybe Koepka and P made that a little bit cheaper for them. Aon Swing 5 update. Pearson Coody holds the top spot. Matt McCarty is second. Patrick Rogers, Rio Hitsasoon, and Andrew Putnam. We got Sahith, Jake Knapp, Haotong Lee, Stephen Yeager, S.H. Kim, and Joel Damon are the first 6 out of there. So a lot of that still up in the air here for Waste Management. Xander Schauffele missed cut. He's got dad back, totally excused absence there, but we can rest in peace to his made cut streak. Max Grazeman shot 64-78. Almost had full Camilo if it wasn't for Justin Rose having that first round lead. And then Brendan Valdez was announced that he has a cancer diagnosis. He's going to be sidelined from the Korn Ferry Tour for some time. So sending our thoughts out to Brendan.
He was, I think, second in PGA Tour U a couple years ago, and I think Korn Ferry Tour going down to Colombia this week. That's always a fun one to track. It's kind of a dual course setup. One of them's crazy short, and they're both at altitude stuff. And then they go to Jockey Club towards the end of the month here. Stoked for that.
I have a question for you guys. I'm going to bring this courtesy of our friends at SoFi, the ultimate finance app, for sponsoring today's SoFi Get Your Money Right moment. You can go to SoFi.com/NLU to learn more about how you can get your money right with SoFi Plus. I'm going to tease a future podcast episode that we're going to do. I'm going to ask you guys a question that I asked a journeyman PGA Tour player, longtime PGA Tour player, now retired. I asked him this question because you can go to like PGA Tour players' webs bios, see their career earnings. We love to play the career earnings game. I asked him how much money would you have had to make on course? That number, made money on course, to be able to retire fully, like to be done. When you're done playing, I'm retired fully. I don't need to make any more money. What do you think a journeyman's answer to that question would be? Does that question make sense?
Current journeyman or somebody who played during the time when clothing and endorsement deals were higher?
So somebody who is like in their mid 40s right now and is done playing. If he said, if I would have made blank on the course, I think I would be totally fine and never have to work again.
Say 12 million.
Yeah,
Once you
it was-
pay
10 was the
caddies, taxes, expenses, all that stuff.
10 was the first number that popped into my head.
He said 20. And he ran through the expenses. He ran through blah blah blah, and he, basically made it. I don't want to spoil too much of that future episode, but I would have thought that number is somewhere close to what you guys are saying. But when he broke it all down, and think of tax, think of blah blah blah, think of all this, and don't have status one single year, what that might do, and all of that, and at home expenses, what they look like. I would have needed to have made a lot more money than I made to be retired fully, completely. And like his pension would have been a lot stronger if that was the case as well. But because you think about a lot of the guys that leave the tour, like you do some kind of work after that as well. You do some media stuff or playing stuff. And I just found that answer quite interesting. We're going to have a big dive into this, into the future. And I want to give thanks to our friends at SoFi, the all-in-one finance app, for sponsoring the Get Your Money Right segment. Go to SoFi.com/NLU to learn more about how you can get your money right with SoFi Plus.
Soly, I think some of that is like, which did you make your 12 million back in the early 2000s, or did you make your 12 million from 2016 to 2021 kind of thing too?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So
we didn't on the DP World. P almost won again this week, by the way. He shot a final round 67 to get into a playoff with Callum Hill and Freddie Schott over in Bahrain. P would make a bogey on the first playoff hole and be eliminated. Then on the second playoff hole, I felt bad for Callum Hill. He was leading most of the week, had a 2-shot lead going into the final round. He hit one out of bounds onto the range left, re-teed, hit one into the rough, and then shanked it across the water, hits the video board that was playing him on the screen, hitting the shank as it hit the video board and went to the water. This playoff ended with a concession. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Like he just like conceded the playoff. I'm sure the DP World Tour officials were like, did not want to see that. But Freddie Schott, the German, he won his first DP World Tour title. End of the week ranked 436th in the world. So
Freddie Schott, great flow.
Yeah.
Look, promising German. He looks very much looks the part, and people say he's got a pretty high ceiling. Cool trophy too. It was some sort of ancient ship as well. They're going to Qatar this week, which I don't know if I'd want to be hanging out in Qatar with just everything going on in the Middle East right now.
Let's get to the main event, if we can call it that, today. Where do you guys want to start with what happened on the LPGA Tour this past week? Maybe, Deej, does it make sense to start? Do you want to like set the scene for the situation that unfolded here today that had a lot of people up in arms, including ourselves?
Sure. So, season opening event, as I mentioned, the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament of Champions,
the Big Flask Invitational,
formerly the Big Flask Invitational, and yeah, basically entered. I was going to say entered today with Nelly Korda leading, but that's a wrinkle because the second or the third round hadn't technically finished yet. There were still, I believe, 8 players on the golf course. It was a small field, 37 players or something in the field. A pro-am, like we mentioned, that's going to be relevant here shortly as well. And weather turned absolutely biblical yesterday. It was very, very nasty. Starting it was nasty all day. We can talk about Nelly's 64 that TC was belittling on.
It was a good
Slack.
64.
It was a great 64, TC. It was my lasting memory of this week. I think is going to be looking up at that scoreboard as Big T's just searching for any kind of signs of life, and our playing partners are holding on for dear life. And seeing Nelly Korda at 14 under par, just being like, dude, that's physically impossible that anybody could be at that score right now. It was that 64 is fucking insane that she shot yesterday. But yeah, we got to a point where they had to stop play yesterday during the during the third round, basically because
They
balls wouldn't
waited
stay
really
on the
long.
17th hole. They waited a long time. There were a lot of players that had to stay out on the golf course. They were desperately trying to get that third round in because they knew there was a cold snap coming and that there was a chance that people were already talking about this on Tuesday, Wednesday, like, oh my God, it's going to be so cold on Sunday. This thing might get wiped out. I think 54 holes was in the back of people's minds kind of all week. And so I think they were pushing really hard trying to get that third round done. But the wind was straight out of the west, which meant that 17, the par 3 over the water, was just playing dead into the teeth of the wind. Lots of balls, like, all of a sudden you had putts that weren't staying on the green. It turned into kind of silly golf in the afternoon. Very fun to watch golf, but unfortunately probably not the competitive integrity that the LPGA was looking for. So they stopped play, kind of rejiggered things for Sunday, decided that the amateurs were going to go out starting around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, something like that, but that they were only going to play 9 holes. And then the LPGA event, the final round, or the third round, was going to continue, and then the final round would start shortly after. At a time where the course was deemed suitable for play. That never really happened, apparently, because they shorted the event to 54 holes while still having those 8 players finish up round 3 to make it an official 54-hole event, which
Even
means that Nelly Korda,
though by their standards the course was unplayable, they still made
Correct.
those 8 players go out.
Correct, and we will get to that in a second. But the headline, I think, is Nelly Korda off the schneid after not winning last year, is your season opening champion in a quite controversial manner. I think it was a fun day to be on the ground and just talking to people. There were a lot of people that were not happy with this decision. I think there were a lot of players that were very happy that they didn't have to go out straight up. I mean, I think if we're starting on that side, there's, the strongest case for not going out was, the ground is too hard. Somebody might get hurt. Conditions are just simply too cold. This isn't an accurate reflection of what this golf tournament is supposed to be. I think if you talk to other people, tournament organizers that I talked to off the record, you talk to other people kind of involved with the tournament off the record, I think there were a lot of people who were like, this is absolutely playable. Annika Sorenstam is playing in the celebrity division. She walked off the golf course and gave a bunch of quotes to Beth Ann about how it's totally playable. There's pitch marks out there. The ball is stopping. I watched, when they did restart play, I watched Amy Yang step up and hit it to like 15 feet on 17. Not saying that 17 was not playing incredibly difficult. It was.
And that was the one unplayable hole that they said, like, hey, like talking to various people, they were like, yeah, like 17 of them are good. 17 green is.
It was brutal. It was really, 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 really hard. But it was possible. It's not, it was not impossible today. And the amateurs that played, the amateurs went out and played 9 holes, and I talked to a lot of them that played today, and they're like, not really my place, but you could, John Smoltz and Marty Fish both birdied the 18th at like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. when they went back out, and it was 30 degrees out there. It was like, it was playable by a lot of people's estimation, and they chose not to play the golf tournament, which is, I think we can get into kind of some of the various, machinations here, or the various elements that go into it. But I think the long and short of it is, for people like Lydia Ko and people like Lottie Woad and Amy Yang, and people that were up at the top of that leaderboard who were bawling out and hanging on for dear life late into the day on Saturday to fight their way up to that leaderboard just to have a chance to go win a freaking golf tournament on Sunday, kind of had that chance taken away from them. Essentially would be the very pessimistic way to look at it. And so it sucks, man, because it was a really cool week, very cool leaderboard, obviously, with the small field. I was really looking forward to going and watching Nelly Korda try to hang on and seeing what she could do in nasty conditions, how she would back up that 64, and we didn't get a chance to see that. So just kind of sucky, man, all the way around. And I think the controversial part of it, or like the really part that you can't really wrap your head around, is how you say out of one side of your mouth that this is dangerous and players might get hurt and this isn't real golf. And then you also put 8 players back out on the golf course to go finish the golf tournament. I mean, how are you not, if it was lightning and they said this tournament is like, it's too dangerous for players to be out there, you don't send 8 players out there to go be like, well, those guys aren't going to get hit by lightning. It'll be fine. And so either it's playable or it's not. And I don't know, man. It's
well, but the cascade of that though is all right. By midday, whenever they went out, it's like, all right, it's good enough now that we can get 8 players through. The problem now would be if we sent everybody back out for round 4, we wouldn't get it in today. We'd have to bring everybody back tomorrow for more cold golf on a Monday. Is like that has to be part of the issue.
They don't have another
right?
event for 2 weeks.
I'm totally with you there, but I think it's not like, I think that, if the entire field needed to finish 9 holes this afternoon, that could have been done versus like finishing round 3 and sending everybody back out. By the time they'd gotten to that point, they weren't going to finish it today. So that played a factor in.
You don't think for sure. You're totally right. Yeah.
I'm not saying that was the right call, but that had to be part of it.
It's like bad process led to a bad result too.
Yes.
Because they could have gotten ahead of it on Friday.
There's like 37 players in the field,
Exactly.
right? It's like, we're not talking about 156 player field here where there's 2 waves and 2 tees. It's like the fucking Thursday game out there, man. Like you can't get 9 holes in today and 9 holes in tomorrow to crown like
Friday blue man.
To crown like an actual champion. And it's, I don't know. It's, I'm happy. Like it's just a weird one, right? Where I'm like, I'm happy for Nelly Korda. Like she played a great round of golf yesterday, and it's cool to have her win the first event of the season. And it's, maybe a little bit of juice for the game, but it's like, God, it feels it's just a little hard to swallow. I think when it's, you have kind of the poster child for the tour, like up there during a time like this. It's just hard not to be a little skeptical, even though, you have all the faith in the world in the people like making the decisions. It's just a tough one all the way around.
Well, all right, a few things. So LPGA comms posts like first thing Sunday morning. They're like, hey, no frost overnight. Course looks good. Course looks good. I feel good. Let's rock. Yeah. So you got that. We're gonna go out on schedule here. I'm assuming the players complained. A bunch of players, go out to the driving range, say, hey, we can't get our tees in the ground, or the ball's bouncing because the greens are frozen, that sort of thing. Then LPGA tweets at 9:51 that they were reevaluating it, and it started a series of cascading delays before they eventually canceled at 12:40. None of this is on their website, by the way. Like it's all just posts from like LPGA comms, and then LPGA finally reposted them. In the meantime, Annika gets on TV and just pours gasoline all over everything, which is so sick.
Which was great.
You've got a new commissioner who I assume he's trying to get off on the right foot here and not lose the locker room early after the last commissioner lost the locker room. You got a player run organization with, a lot of players that honestly don't like to be challenged, right? They don't like, and then it's just not a good recipe. And then you've got, props to Amy Rogers for like on Golf Channel for going on, pressed the LPGA Tour officials and said, hey, like what constitutes playable and unplayable? What are we looking for here? How can we, does something need to happen to get the players back on the course? And they didn't give her really any details or any specificity. They said it's not the optimal playing environment. Well, you know what? Guess what? It's a fucking outdoor sport. All right. It's golf. Everybody's playing the same course. You figure out how to get the ball in the hole, right? Doesn't matter what it looks like. Like I was stoked to watch today. I tweeted yesterday afternoon, like, man, tomorrow's gonna be awesome. I've played a lot of junior golf tournaments or a lot of people have played a lot of golf tournaments in adverse conditions, bad weather, all of that stuff. Like I just don't think that there's that much risk of hurting yourself hitting out of a shaded area when it's say 37 degrees outside. Like you're an athlete. You got to be an athlete. And then Ricky Lasky going into the booth after the fact and saying, you know what, all these CME points, it's all about the CME points. And you know what, we just can't take that for granted. Well, you just did. You just sent eight players out. They all lost spots based on where they would have been when they like before they went back out to finish their round. Like the whole thing. Meanwhile, you got the celebrities out there playing the golf course. The whole thing is just fucking laughable. Like it's so unserious. It makes me furious at the LPGA Tour of just what an own goal and a series of like cascading poor decisions this was for the last 72 hours.
It's tough, man. And it's it feels a little bit like a redux of the old Pebble Beach conversations, right? Of like, dude, on the ground, it's really cool, you know, but I get that the TV has lost the plot. I think there's a little bit of that with this event. And again, I'm probably just sensitive to it because I had a really fun week with Tim and we're at a lot of events and there's, you know, you get like the full spectrum of a golf tournament's not, I've got to meet him. Yeah, he was great. You get the whole spectrum of like a golf tournament's not just a golf tournament, right? It's also hosting all of these people and all these other events and concerts and all of this shit that goes into this week. And you know, to talk to a number of people behind the scenes again who are like, man, we wanted to keep it going, is tough for like people who fund an event like this and an outside the box kickoff for the LPGA, because I do think that having been here this whole week, like I do think that this is a cool model for kicking off the season. Like there's a lot of people out here and there's a lot of people who are here to see the celebrities straight up, right? Like a lot of the walking inside the ropes and stuff, like there's a lot of people that are stopping the celebrities more than stopping the players in some instances. And I'm like, if that's great, man, if that gets people out to the first event of the season and then you can still put on a great TV product where theoretically you're supposed to have, you know, whoever it was going to end up being, like some combination of Nelly and Lottie Woad and Lydia Ko and Nasa Hataoka and Amy Yang and all these people like in these last couple groups. I'm like, that's a true like 1 + 1 = 3, I think.
Yeah.
Right. But it's when it gets kind of jumbled up into this blender and turned into kind of just a sideshow is where it's like, it's just really hard to defend. It got pretty bleak this afternoon.
Why not play tomorrow? I mean, I'm sure it's just a money thing. Because like it's the high tomorrow is 53 degrees in Orlando.
I know they're
sunny.
Yeah, well, that's Florida
cloud
cold
in
though.
the sky.
Florida cold. So there's that. Yeah, I don't get it, and that's where again it's like I'm sure.
Do you think Nelly being in the lead factored into this? They could get.
I fucking hope not,
I
man.
know.
Like that's so shitty if it did. Like that's awful if it did. That is not like a competitive league. If that's the case, I'm not saying that it was, but that's where I keep going back to like, gosh, it's hard not to think that was no factor.
And then Deej, like you're saying, like, all right, maybe this is a spark to the season. It's not, because we're not going to see Nelly again until the end of March.
Yeah,
she's skipping the entire Asia swing for the, I don't know, 5th or 6th year in a row, and we don't have another event in the United States until the Founders Cup, March 19th through 22nd. So, this whole thing just feels like this extraneous domestic tournament, January 29th to February 1st, and then they go to Asia for 3 events, and there's not another tournament stateside until March 19th. So just like, I don't think that's fair to the players either, to ramp up your game. Take, for 1 week, take 2 weeks off and then go to Thailand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
no,
I get that this is kind of a get me over a year with the schedule and all of that, but man, it just sucks when it's like you're pounding the table for like, hey, take the LPGA Tour seriously. The LPGA Tour's got good stuff going on. This is good stuff. And then they do something like this, and it's like, man, like, how are people supposed to take you seriously? It's a joke.
It's hard, man. And what really bums, like, I'm genuinely bummed out because I have, so many pages of notes of just awesome stuff that's happened all week. I had a great time being down here all week. Every player that we hung out with was fantastic. Everybody that was organizing the tournament was great. Largely the weather was fine until, yesterday afternoon and today. The golf course is cool. It's a good test. Like it's got a ton going for it. And I was like genuinely buzzing to come on and talk about it. And actually Tim and I, we're going to have a Nest for Nest members. We're going to have a Nest podcast just breaking down the whole week, which is what we're going to talk about on this podcast tonight. But instead, like we're kind of stuck talking about this stuff, which is much more pertinent and much less fun. And it stinks because up until this morning, I'm like, man, I just every time I come to one of these events, I end up liking golf more than I did before I got here. I genuinely love it, and it can be such a good product, and they have so much going for them. It's hard when shit like this happens, and it just is kind of feels like they're stepping on rakes.
And when Ricky Lasky says it was changing the trajectory of their shots as they were practicing, the balls were releasing when they weren't supposed to be. Like that.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Outdoor sport. What are we doing?
Party, my man.
You need to embrace that aspect. Like that is
Sign
part
me
of the problem of how you've set up golf courses and you set up all your tournaments. I think from reading the tea leaves, it sounds like the players had a lot of sway in this. It seems like in terms of their voicing their opinion, their fear of getting hurt and the conditions and all of that seems to have been maybe overreacted to by the actual tour.
Yeah.
Is that
which again, I would so buy that, and I'm not here to tell somebody like how to feel or what you should be worried about or not worried about. But my point is like, man, just from a logic standpoint, if that's the case, then like go back to then make it a 36-hole tournament. How do you send other players back out?
Yeah.
How do you send Lydia Ko back out to, hey, go play 18? You probably won't get hurt. Like, I don't get how that's so weird to me that is just feels very incongruous to speak out of both sides of your mouth.
I've also never heard of anybody just getting hurt hitting the ground with a club, like from hitting a golf shot. I
don't know.
I've never heard of that.
And shout out to our buddy Chad Coleman. He starts this new gig with the LPGA Tour on this coming Tuesday.
Well, I'll
first
spin
assignment, buddy.
I'll spin it to optimism that again, just being here all week, I'm like, there is good stuff to work with, man. Yeah. There really is. It's really awesome being out here, and I had a genuinely great time. It's just, stuff like this kind of leaves a bad taste in the mouth.
They had to send out a second statement later in the afternoon.
It's never good. If you have two statements.
Their first statement was so bad.
You have one.
And again, like my frustration and just anger here is a result of the same thing, Deej, of like feeling like, hey, I've got some skin in the game here, and I've pounded on the table for the LPGA Tour, and like love watching it, love covering it, and trying to get more people into it, and then they just can't help but shoot themselves in both feet at every possible.
One of their days they were going to be on network television. That's the thing.
Not against football.
You could have played golf
on Team
NBC.
Rose. Well, and Team Rose is running away from it.
I know, man.
Oh.
It stinks. It
Oh,
stinks.
it's so frustrating.
Only last thing I would say, and I hope I'm not beating a dead horse at this point, but when you do kind of turn all the lights to women's golf and you do focus on like, I'm really pumped to watch this Sunday. One of the storylines that's always in the back of my head is like, man, Nelly, is she a dog? Is she going to go out and get one in cold weather? Is she going to go like back it up? She played the round of her life yesterday. Is she going to does she have another one in nasty, windy, gnarly conditions? Can she flight it down? Can she it's the same thing I would say about Scotty, right? Is if, oh my God, I would want to do nothing more than watch Scotty try to go win in gnarly conditions. And it's just really hard to, it sucks to be deprived of that, I guess. Because I think it's not a liability, man. Like it shouldn't be viewed as a liability of, oh man, this is such a bad product we're putting out there. It's like, no, it should be like a massive positive. Like this was going to be thrilling to watch.
I get the sense that if they woke up tomorrow and had this whole situation to do all over again, just pretend it was Sunday morning tomorrow, and they had all, they would do things differently, and they think they know that this did not play out in the proper way.
They wouldn't send out the frost. No
I
frost. We're playing.
didn't mean to make that joke on Groundhog Day either tomorrow as well. But
Like, Deej, not only that, Nelly getting chased by Brooke and Lydia and Lottie until Lottie kind of wrecked her rig coming in like that.
with some potential for some volatility, that's the
Yeah.
best part. It
And
wasn't
some
gonna be a
amateurs
cruise.
showing out, like showing out there how hard it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
hitting truly terrible shots of like, no, these conditions are insane.
And like truly great shots. Like not all the my guy. Listen, my guy left plenty out there, but dude, some of those guys take it very seriously and hit very serious golf shots, which is wild. I know that's not going to come through on the TV, but there's some serious game in some of those guys.
Somebody said that Marty Fish and Nelly both had to lift the same trophy. They didn't have a separate trophy for the celeb division and the LPGA division. But
I missed the trophy. We were not invited to the trophy ceremony.
Hey, praise progress in that. Wasn't this the tournament in years past where they didn't group it correctly? Or they like the groupings coming down the stretch? They had like the winner coming out of the not last group because the celebrities were playing the last group.
I think they've had to change the celebrity kind of setup quite a few times over the years, but yeah, I don't know. Again, it's far from perfect, but I see what they're going for sure, and I think there's a lot of good in this event.
Big Flask's vision.
Right.
last LPGA note, Nelly had some quotes about the women's TGL. Quotes to Golf Week. She said, "I have mixed feelings on it, if I'm being very honest, and I'm surprised no other girls have, or no one's really spoken out about it. I think it's a huge and unbelievable miss that we're not playing alongside the men. There's no greater way to grow the game, and it would have been the first time I think that men and women are on the same playing field, playing for the same exact amount of money. But I also think it's great that we are getting this opportunity, so that's my mixed feelings." Big fuck yeah to Nelly for saying that and for the sentiment of that statement as well. So that's that is a good one.
So on that note with TGL, any prediction for the week? You got Atlanta Jupe this week.
Now we're playing for draft position, really, at this point. You know, yeah. I don't know. Maybe my Reds just spent $15 million on Eugenio Suarez. Like maybe my other team will start, flip around and spend a little bit of money. Get things involved, or maybe we'll keep rolling out a retired broadcaster on our team. I don't know, but I don't feel great about the direction of Jupe Links. And
Solly, I don't feel good about.
I'm going to sign Candelario.
I Boston beat the hell out of the Bay last week.
Yeah, that was ugly. Candelario went 1 for 14 and cost the Toros the championship down in Dominican as well. But that's going to pretty much do it for this week. We got the Waste Management on the PGA Tour, Live Riyadh, Qatar Masters, Astara Golf Championship in Colombia, and the Corn Ferry Tour. LPGA Tour is off, as mentioned. Not this week, but next week. We're going to be live at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am doing our live show from the range on Wednesday like we have the last couple of years. We're also going to be doing a little watch-along when the telecast comes on Thursday afternoon. We have some really fun stuff planned for next week, and always look forward to that. And we got some video stuff coming out in relation to this as well. TC took a little special trip. We won't tease too much of that just yet, but a lot of stuff coming out around AT&T, and we're going to be out at Pebble starting this coming Sunday, and we'll be doing an in-person recording during the Super Bowl after the Waste Management Phoenix Open this coming weekend. And if you have not, please, you guys were involved in this trip. I was not. So let me brag on you for a little bit. Please check out the Nebraska film on our YouTube channel, brought to you by our friends at Yeti. I think it's up there with some of the best and most beautiful stuff we've ever done. Probably at minimum tied for first with something else that I can't name right now of the worst FOMO I've had watching a video series that we've ever done. It's just awesome. Just made me want to go to Nebraska immediately. And so please check that out. We've gotten a lot of great feedback on that one. And just want to make sure nobody missed that one, because that was a special one. So
I would say shout out to Jake Trago as well. A lot of people asking in the comments and texts and all over the place. What was that song at the end of the Nebraska film that was written by our guy Jake Trago from Year of the Buffalo? Just a one-off commission. We've never really done that before, and so Jake and I had a fun time kind of putting something together for that, and it turned out fucking awesome. It's like I have listened to it 1,000 times
Yeah.
since he sent it to me. It's really, really great. So yeah.
Cool. Well, Deej, thanks for joining us. We kept you for longer than we said we would, but that's how we do things on the
Oh,
Sunday
great
night
to be
pod.
here.
It's
Good
always
to
great
chop it
chatting
up.
with you. So shout out to our friends at Titleist, Rhoback, and SoFi. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you back here next week. Cheers.
Shout out to Lady J and P. Welcome back.